Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our New York City Department of Education Career and Technical Education CTE Commission. For this particular meeting, what I've chosen to do is to combine several of our CTE sectors. So for this meeting, we have a combination of automotive and transportation, construction and sustainability, engineering, and architecture. With me today, we have my colleagues, Laura Bucko and Corinne Duran. I'm gonna ask that they would continue to assist me. Please continue to let folks in. I want to remind everybody that these meetings are recorded, so make sure that you keep yourself on mute. If you have any questions or comments, I ask that you would raise your hand during the meeting, and also feel free to use the chat box as well. One of my favorite parts or one of my favorite aspects of doing these meetings is the ability for us to connect and reconnect with each other. So if you see other folks in the meeting that you would like to get to know or that you'd like to catch up with, please, by all means, go ahead and use the chat box and feel free to message them directly. Now, with these meetings, I try to make them as relevant and meaningful as possible. So today we are going to be discussing various opportunities that CTE teachers might find to be beneficial. And we're going to discuss a few career and training opportunities for our current and graduating seniors as well, our current students and our graduating seniors. Unfortunately, our co-chair of the Construction and Sustainability Commission, Tamara Rivera, she's out sick today. I was hoping that she would spend some time talking about an upcoming pre-apprenticeship recruitment from our partners at Building Works. But nevertheless, I will make sure to email out that information sometime after the meeting. There's a next recruitment happening in the month of March. And I really recommend that you would share this information with your graduating students who are interested in a union apprenticeship opportunity in working with the New York City District Council carpenters. And this opportunity is not only for our current carpentry students, but it's for any one of our young people who may be interested in pursuing this trade. I'm also going to ask for some help from my colleagues. As you see others possibly logging into the Teams link, can you just please remind them that this is a Zoom meeting? I tried to title this event GAPS Commission on Zoom, and I have the Zoom logo in the middle of the flyer. And I also have the Zoom link in the calendar invitation as well. But I guess the folks at Microsoft feel a little bit slighted that so many people prefer to use Zoom rather than Teams. So they have this unavoidable glitch where no matter what you would do to edit the calendar invitation, they make it into a Teams meeting for some reason. So please just share the word that we are on Zoom. If there's anybody that's clicking on that Teams link, just tell them to move over on this platform on Zoom. We have a packed agenda today. And as I said earlier, the point of these meetings is to try to build collaborative relationships between our career and technical education programs, as well as our various stakeholders and partners throughout New York City. If you're looking to share your feelings or talk about what you and your cat did over the weekend, or what you like to do to stay warm and cozy in the winter, this is not that type of meeting. We roll our sleeves up, we talk about authentic, meaningful, relevant resources for our teachers. And ultimately, the purpose of this commission, the purpose of all the meetings that you get invitations from me, the purpose of all of these meetings is to try to empower your work as we try to make sure that our young people in New York City are career ready. So again, unfortunately, Tamara Rivera is not here with us, so I'm gonna just move along with the agenda. I want to feature a man who is pretty much well known throughout the CTE world. His name is Joe Zara, and he's been working within the CTE world now for as long as I've been alive. And he's someone who has a lot of accolades, and On the agenda, I put that he has resources for our automotive teachers, but this man is so versatile that whether you want to talk about robotics or STEM or CAD or CAM or whatever it may be, he has the intelligence, he has the expertise. And I was telling him earlier that it's just unfortunate that we weren't able to collaborate much sooner. But I'm going to turn over the mic to none other than Joe Zara. Go for it, Joe.
Thank you very much for those kind words. I will try and meet up to those expectations if I can. I just put really, for the 10 minutes or so that I have, I wanted to put together a few slides, talk to you about what I'm doing, primarily in automotive over the course of the last, I would say, 10 years at least. That's been a primary focus of my work in CTE, but I also work, as Gavaskar has mentioned, in engineering and STEM and all the things that encompasses. So, and I do see some familiar faces around. So it's good to see you all too. I'm going to start with just one thing that we're doing in automotive. I'm going to try and minimize this and navigate my way through Zoom. Let me just ask you if you can see my screen. I'm thinking you can't, but let me just see. Trying to get you back on full screen. Still with me audibly?
Yeah, we hear you, but we're still not seeing your screen yet.
So you after that great intro. I'm looking, let me just see. Okay. Can you see that screen now? It says I'm sharing my screen.
We see it now.
Okay, I'm sorry about that. Okay, the first thing that I just wanted to mention to the folks out there, this is relates to the automotive cluster, or the transportation cluster, as we now call it, and it has to do with a sticker design contest that we've been doing for the last few years now. This is, I think, our 4th year that we're doing it, and my screen is a little cluttered with some of the images of folks here. But if you could see, it gives you a little bit of detail on what we're asking students. So the primary purpose of this was to just give a little bit more exposure to what the folks in auto tech are doing. So we developed this little design contest for students. The first year, we basically designed it ourselves to put out an example. What we do each year with this is we give these stickers to anybody who wants them in automotive. The only thing that we ask is, because we are covering the cost of printing and mailing, that we ask that you just include your graduating seniors on that. To date, for the class of 2022, I think we've sent out several hundred of these to instructors across, well, what I cover was about a 9-state area. So it's Pennsylvania, New Jersey, New York, and the entire New England. So it's quite a big territory. Happy to say that the last 2 years of this, when it was a design contest for high school students, that those winners came from New York. So hopefully we'll see someone from the New York City area come up and win this little $250 prize and the recognition that goes with it for this little sticker. Imagine, if you will, this, you see stickers all over on laptops, on on Chromebooks and things like that. So that's about the size of it. You're looking at about a 4-inch by a 3-inch sticker, but it's a little something that an instructor can give out at the end of the year. It doesn't cost anything, and it just gives a little recognition to that class of, so when they look at them, that they can remember their time in the school. At the end of this, I'm going to throw up a slide with just my contact information, and you'll be able to just take a shot of that with your phone, and you'll be able to contact me for any of these things that you'd like to be involved with. Each year we do on election day, we do a conference called RACE. It's the Regional Automotive Conference for Educators. And for that, as part of the giveaway, we created some calendars to put together for the folks that attend, along with their PD certificates for time there. Unfortunately, the last 2 years, we've had to do this virtually, but I do have plenty of calendars left over. Typically, I make about 250. I think at peak last year in our virtual conference on Election Day, we had 96 automotive instructors from across the territory that I mentioned before. So I have a bunch of these, and Gav, he sent me a picture of one that's hanging actually in his kitchen. So I know that they're being used when I go out and I visit the schools when able. They have those. So if that's something that you want, I typically will send that along with the sticker pack for schools that request it. And that's always included in there as well. But if you have an automotive program in your network and you'd like to pass some of these out, please get in touch with me and I can help you with that. While we talk about students, again, I just want to point out that we have been involved with the student competitions there in the metro area and at the state level here in New York. Unfortunately, we weren't able to do that in person last year. We did work with the Greater New York Auto Dealers Association and provided a virtual event for them. And we had 3 winners, just like we normally do. And the students were there to collect their sponsorships and their scholarships and everything else that was associated with that. Due to various reasons, I don't see that happening this year, just because of timing and COVID and the culmination event for that. And I'm on the planning committee for that, but I can't speak to all the particulars. But the idea of being able to get 32 vehicles donated, even temporarily, for an event like that, at a time now where we have a shortage in automobiles, even on the car lot, and that boils down to trainers and workstations and things that people would use. All those things combined factor into the reason why you're not going to see a regional or a state event like you normally would. That being said, my companies that I represent, and I'm going to show you a couple of more slides, they are Elective and Consul Lab. They are involved with Skills USA, and we have gotten information, and they've reached out to us to be involved with them again this year. Prior to last year and the year before, we were an on-site event with Skills USA. So if that's someone in the audience here is doing that somewhere in citywide and they need some help virtually to do things or prep students for Skills USA, I'm going to again leave my contact information at the end. This has just been these have just been great events for me. I come from what we used to call a vocational background, and this Skills USA piece is dear to me, as well as the competitions that we did through the Greater New York Auto Dealers Association. We've also, through Elective, entered into a partnership with Lincoln Technical High School, Lincoln Tech, rather, not Tech High School, Lincoln Tech over in Whitestone, and actually across the board for all the Lincoln Tech schools. So there probably will be some opportunity for articulation and things like that with the work that we're doing with Elective and Consul Lab combined for their complete curriculum adoption, let's just call it. So again, no need for, if you have questions, certainly let me know, but I am going to leave my contact information at the end. I am going to just jump out to go to some of these resources that I'm talking about with Consul Lab and Elective. Just going to see if I can get out into the first one I'll mention is, let me just see if I can pick up Consul Lab. Okay, this is a company called Consul Lab, and this is not a commercial announcement, but what I wanted to bring to your attention was the resources tab and a place that you can direct people to. I think the one thing that I really wanted to point out to you here was some of the training opportunities that are available to teachers. Some of them are free, and all the documentation from them is free as well. And the one I really just wanted to point out was one that was developed by a teacher that has been around for a number of years. His name is Dick Krieger, and he put together this 45 tips for program viability. And I think since we're talking about a number of, and this is a free download, by the way, since we're talking to a couple of different clusters today, I feel like this particular document is relevant to all. It was done for an automotive piece. It's, like I said, it's downloadable, it's free.
Joe,
Yes.
sorry to interrupt you. We're still seeing the Elective slide from your earlier presentation. We're not seeing the Consul Lab slide.
Okay, so you're not seeing my screen then.
No, we're seeing your screen, but it's the Elective slide we're looking at.
Okay, so let me see if I can do that. Is that it?
Still the same slide.
Still the same slide. All right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to see if I can close PowerPoint. Is that coming through? I now close the window. Now let me see if I can screen share again.
Okay, now we see it. We see it now.
There, you got it?
Yes.
I apologize. I'm not familiar with navigating through this. Anyway, this is a free download from the Consul website. All these things are reachable through my website or the Consul website. But again, this is a free document that's put out there. And since we have a couple of different clusters associated with the meeting, today's meeting, I think some of this stuff is transferable. What Dick did was he took the things that he'd done over the years to increase the viability of his own vocational CTE program and put it into writing. And some of it's a lot of things that you may be doing already. Some of it may be new to you, but he put it in like a nice, what I like to say, field guide for things. And in some of the cases, you could just switch the wording to construction or electrical or ACE, air conditioning, refrigeration, things to do with your curriculum and your facilities, how to market your program, getting involved in community and advisory boards and associations like the people around the webinar today, how to seek some funding, what your class should look like, more breakdowns on curriculum and things like that. So I'm just scrolling through this. This is something that, these are also links that I can send Gavaskar so he can send those along to you as well. So I'm going to, let's see how this sharing thing. Lastly, I'm going to try and show you the Elective website. A little bit of a challenge to get away from the toolbar that's on the top. If I can close that up. Can you see this screen?
Yes,
young
we see
lady,
the-
young
yes.
lady. Okay, what I've taken you to here is the Elective website. This primarily, again, deals with automotive. It's an e-learning platform. It's what we used as a platform to do the virtual competition here in the city last year. And the availability to have this for free is out there for everyone. All you need to do is just visit the website and let us know. The other thing that's worth mentioning for anyone who's an end user at this point is the support tab and the webinars tab. I'm working with, roughly 60% of the high schools that actually offer automotive technology as a program there in the New York City area. And if I include Long Island and everybody up to Hudson, it'll take us up around probably 85% of the programs that are in New York that are using this platform. But every year during the Greater New York Auto Dealers Association regionals, state, and finals, I make this available to anyone for free to use so that they can prep students not only for the competition, but for the various various tests that they have to take for year end and things like that. They've also added things like webinars that have been recorded, so you don't necessarily have to be there. So they've posted webinars that include things that have to do with pedagogy, associated with just teaching CTE in general, to things that are more specific and drill down on automotive systems and subsystems. So 10 minutes is a short time, but let me see if I can come back to that PowerPoint. If I can't, certainly I will have Gavaskar get you my contact information.
Are you finished, Joe?
I'm finished. I just was going to throw up the slide for my contact information, but if you would send that to the group.
Sure. Absolutely. All right. Thank you so much, Joe. And I really recommend, if you are a CTE automotive program and you are not already working with Joe, please get in touch with us so that we can help support your program. All right. So moving on in the agenda, I would love to feature Maddie and Danielle from Solid Professor. I believe I saw them earlier today. I'm very thankful to my fellow evangelist Rohan Spencer. He got me in touch with these two wonderful ladies, and it is my pleasure to introduce them to you today because I believe they have a number of resources that our STEM and engineering teachers might find useful. So take it away, Danielle and Maddie.
Thanks, Gav. I appreciate the time that you guys have given us today. Maddie will go ahead and share her screen. First and foremost, I'd like to just introduce us as one of the approved vendors for NYC Public Schools, working with all of these different software and topics that you're seeing here on the right-hand side of the screen. Solid Professor has been around for 20 years, supporting engineering, architecture, and manufacturing programs from beginner through certification. As we go into sixth grade, all the way through the post-secondary level, we provide support to students in the forms of things like tutorials and exercises, quizzes, certainly certification prep, holding not only an approved partnership with NYC schools, also with SolidWorks, Autodesk, and Onshape, as well as FIRST Robotics competitions. Within the platform, we do provide teachers access for free for professional development in all of these topics. My phone number, if you guys wanted to take a screenshot and email, is at the bottom of this slide. You can contact me directly to set up a time to get set up with your free professional development account. In addition, there's also resources for students that are both for sale to the schools to be able to be purchased, as well as our free resources that we put out several times a year to nationwide schools in order to use us. We work with other large districts such as Los Angeles Unified, Chicago Public Schools, Miami-Dade Public Schools, to support their students in a linear fashion to really save teachers time. Things like automatically graded quizzes are included, as well as a trajectory that can give you a pathway from getting a student from what is your engineering software, what is engineering, through an industry-ready certification that can end up in a job for them. Within there, we don't, at this time, we only have 10 minutes as well. So I'd like Maddie to just talk about some of our free resources in there, but certainly for professional development accounts that you would like as teachers or to send out to your teachers to get, you can take a screenshot of my contact information at the bottom.
Hi all, thanks Danielle. So whether you're a member school or not, we create free resources like Danielle mentioned for anyone who can access them. So I'll highlight a few of our most popular resources here, but after this meeting, Gav will email you a link to this slide, so you'll have Danielle's contact information through that, and then also you'll be able to click on all of these resources and actually access them. So our first one here is an e-guide, which includes more than 30 tips from SolidWorks' certification holders on how to pass the CSWA. So if you're trying to get your student SolidWorks certified, this is a really great free e-guide to help give them the tips and tricks to be successful on that exam. Our next one is a white paper on the future of engineering and manufacturing. It is a deep dive into Industry 4.0 innovations like additive manufacturing, AI, VR, AR. And then this next one is it's a new one. It's a really fun one. So it's a free project to use. So it's a free CAD project that will get your students to consider human limitations, characteristics, wants, needs, and concerns during their engineering design process. And there is a free prompt and grading rubric included. So it's everything you need to get your students involved in a class project. And then our last one here is just a project lifecycle poster. So it includes every step in the 12-stage product life cycle, and it includes a key question and examples at every stage. This is just a fun one you can put in your classrooms. And then I just did want to mention our design challenge. So we do this twice a year, and so our next one will be in the spring. We'll be sharing details with our email subscribers in April. If you're not already an email subscriber, you can just go to solidprofessor.com and scroll down to our footer and fill out a short form, and you'll start getting our emails, and you'll be notified when we launch that new design challenge. But so our last design challenge was at the end of the year, and we asked students to design a product that alleviates the issues caused by snow and ice. And we had hundreds of submissions from all over the country, and the winning student won a Sonos speaker for himself and a 3D printer for his school. So we have these kind of like on-demand projects that you see here that challenge your students to design with humans in mind, but then we also host these big design challenges twice a year so students and their schools can actually win some prizes. So if you'd like to be in the know about that, head to our website, scroll down to the footer and fill out that information. I'll just ask for your name and email so that you can get on our email list to be in the know about all of our free resources, including our design challenge. And you can explore more free resources at solidprofessor.com/resources. We've got a ton of e-guides, a ton of white papers for you to access. And again, whether you're a Solid Professor member or not, all of that stuff is completely free to use. But like I said, again, Gav will email this slide to you so that you'll have access to all of these links.
All right, thank you, Maddie and Daniel. Do we have any questions from any of the teachers or any in the audience? All right, so very well. And as a reminder, all of these commission meetings, all of these recordings, they are found on our CTE public Google folder. My colleagues will be dropping links throughout this meeting, so please pay attention to the chat box. And as always, I will make sure to email all the slides, all the contact info of our presenters that you've seen today. All right, next, I want to feature my good friend and good colleague, Megara Hewa Vitharana. Did I say right? I don't know if I said it right. I've been trying to practice all day, but we affectionately call him Mig. And I don't know if Anne-Marie Bugler is on yet, but I just want to give a big shout out to Mig and the rest of our partners at Structural Engineers Association of New York. They have been such a monumental help with a number of initiatives that we've been trying to get done within the CTE world. I feel like, I don't know, Mig, I feel like you're doing more work for DOE than for your actual company these days. The amount of times I've been emailing you guys.
Don't tell them that though. It's fine.
Yeah, a big shout out though to Mig and Juliana Widlin from the famous Widlin family, and Anne-Marie and the folks there at Structural Engineers Association. They've helped our CTE programs get their curriculum reviewed and endorsed, and they have some wonderful content that they'd like to share with you. And I really suggest that especially our CTE architecture and CTE engineering programs will get to know Meg and his team, because they have a host of resources that your kids will enjoy. Go for it, Meg.
Yeah, cool. Thanks, Gav, for that awesome introduction. Appreciate it a lot. So yeah, my name is Megara Hewa Vitharana. I go by Mig for short. I'm a structural engineer, structural project engineer with Ala Consulting Engineers. And I'm also heavily involved with Structural Engineers Association of New York. Now, what is CIONE? I call it, CIONE for short. What is CIONE? So maybe some of you have heard of the National Council of Structural Engineering Associations, a nationwide organization, which kind of encompasses a lot of different professional organizations, kind of helps represent and, talk to architects, building code enforcement authorities, construction industry owners, developers, basically anything in the built environment when it comes to, buildings, structures, urban planning, architecture, all that stuff. And CIONE is kind of like is a member organization here in New York City and obviously New York State, and is a local chapter of NCSEA. So talking a little bit about CIONE as an organization at a glance, so we have a leadership of, leadership board, which encompasses mostly structural engineers, but I think there's a few architects on that board as well. And they kind of oversee a long list of committees who are chaired and contributed to by an enthusiastic group of, volunteers within the AEC community. Those committees, codes and standards, talking about, basically the differences and updates to the building codes and, design codes. Diversity and equity, pushing forward the initiatives to make sure that we're, raising the voices of marginalized communities within, the architecture, engineering, and construction industry. Membership, programs committee, publications, resiliency, which is a huge thing these days with the effects of climate change. There's a scholarship committee, small practices engineering committee, to help promote smaller mom and pop shop organizations. The Structural Engineering Emergency Response Committee, which is, another really important thing, in the event that there's, building collapses or, any sort of emergency, structural engineers who are on site for, say, like, in the aftermath of, natural disasters, things like that. The SEER committee kind of helps oversee some of that stuff. And then Student Outreach and Education Committee, the younger member group, and then website and the Central New York Upstate Chapter Committee. And today I'm going to be talking a little bit about the Student Outreach Education Committee and Younger Member Group, which I help lead with CIONE. So within the Student Outreach and Education Committees, there's a lot of overlap. Both of these committees basically focus on professional growth, mentorship, and networking opportunities for individuals at different levels of experience. Where student outreach and education, we're focusing really on the, high school and, college level individuals, right? So students mostly, but that obviously goes, is, not just kids, it goes, extends to, graduate students as well. And younger member group is sort of kind of that transition from, they're graduating college, making that transition from being in academia to being in the working world, providing events and programs to help those individuals, make that transition and be successful. And there's a lot of overlap between these two committees. They help support each other, and a lot in maybe smaller towns or smaller organizations, local chapters of NCSEA. They will oftentimes have all of this under one umbrella, but because New York City is so populous and we have such a large group and large volunteer force between these two groups, we actually split them apart and they kind of have their own different sort of avenues of programming that they do. So here's just some flyers, recent events that we've done, just to kind of give you like a idea of the type of work that we do. So this was like a virtual shadow program that we ran for college students last April, I want to say, or yeah, last April. We do PE review, like for professional engineering licensure. I'm a licensed professional engineer myself, and we do like licensed professional exam prep, so tips and studying of how to pass the exam. Candid conversations, which is a great sort of like a much more relaxed kind of atmosphere. Panel discussion with people who are sort of like rising stars within the engineering community here in New York City, and fielding any sorts of questions from college students. We do design competitions. So this was Structures Impossible. This was the first time we did it last year. We try to base the prompt off of like a real world project, and we give like a whole outline of what students are supposed to do. We break them into teams and give them a whole day to tackle this problem, and they have to basically come up with a solution and present on that solution in front of a panel of judges who end up deciding the victor, and then end up they learn a lot from that program. This was a really cool presentation which kind of featured the intersection of structures and art out in the world. We do some fun stuff too. It's not all technical and not all technical and professional development stuff. Structure Quest is basically a architecture and structural engineering based scavenger hunt throughout New York City. It's a pretty fun event. We do it every single year. There's always a new theme every single year. And this is actually one that's coming up here next week. We do a lot of resume and interview workshops this is kind of more of the geared towards college students, trying to get them ready for kind of interview season and trying to help them land that ever so important first internship or getting that entry level position after college. Like I mentioned, we do fun stuff too. Holiday party, roundtable. That was a really fun event. This was all virtual back then. We actually did some in-person stuff recently. And then of course, we do some high school outreach stuff too. This was a screenshot from a really, really great event we did, I want to say in April of 2020. Wow, it's like a time capsule, right? I feel like I wanted to say like this was last year, but it wasn't. And yeah, we did this event where we talked about structural engineering as a profession to about like 160 students and teachers. It was a really great event. We had a great panel of like 6 structural engineers across multiple firms. And first hour we did a presentation, and the second hour we had a full panel where students and teachers alike were able to ask any questions they had about both the structural engineering industry as well as architecture. What are the differences between the two, and how we collaborate in the profession to build structures, right? And you'll notice some familiar faces. There's me. Unfortunately, Anne-Marie is I think stuck on a call right now, and then there's the man himself. Yeah.
Nick, I'm here.
Oh, Anne-Marie's here.
I came right in when Gav was introducing us. So.
Oh, great. Perfect. All right. Awesome. Anne-Marie's here. Great. Yeah. So some services we offer, and just a reminder, this is all free. It's not, we don't charge for any of this stuff. We're all volunteers. We do this because we love doing the outreach. We love help fostering growth in the engineering community, the architecture, engineering, construction industry. So some stuff that we like to do, we have presentations developed that are geared towards high school students and teachers about the structural engineering profession and, obviously the architecture, engineering, construction industry as a whole. We like to do feedback and critiques for CTE curriculums. Gav was able to reach out to myself and Anne-Marie and one of my other colleagues, Juliana, and we were able to do some feedback for Brooklyn Tech. That was a really rewarding experience. Really cool to see some of these very advanced CTE high school programs, which I wish were around when I was a student, because I would be a much better engineer had I gone through them. Panel discussions geared towards undergrad students, with current undergrad students and young professionals geared towards high school students. We want to start doing more hands-on and interactive activities to teach structural engineering basics to high school students. We have like a bunch of these things called MOLA kits that are currently sitting collecting dust, and we have some really great engineers who are raring to go with developing curriculum and fun activities to do in the classroom. So hopefully when COVID allows, we'll be able to get into your classrooms and bring those kits with us and do some fun activities that go a little bit beyond the popsicle stick, type of building of structures. Critiques and feedbacks or judges on a panel for like student design projects or competition. High School of Art and Design, which is an architecture-based program. We were able to give feedback and be on a panel for their senior high-rise presentations, which was really cool. Really great experience to see how these future architects think and the difficult structures they're going to develop for us to design someday. And in the pipeline, something that we're kind of trying to develop more is shadow opportunities for high school level students. We have established shadow programs for college level students, and we want to we want to expand that to also include high schools as well. So we're in the process with that. So that's kind of like a high level look at what we do and what kind of stuff is, what kind of services we can provide and the different types of opportunities for your teachers out there. We have our contact list here. I'm in the process. I unfortunately was kind of crazy busy with work this week, but I'm going to put together a sign-up form that I'll send to Gav, and he can send out to everyone here. If you're interested, if your school is interested in working with us, you can either send us an email or connect with us on LinkedIn, or with that form, you can sign up, and it'll populate a contact sheet for us, and you'll be on our list for individuals we want to reach out to and see if we can partner with you and your students. Yeah. And Anne-Marie, anything else to add?
Yeah. Hi, everybody. My name's Anne-Marie Bugler. I'm a civil engineer, a structural engineer in the New York area. I went to University at Buffalo, got my degree in civil engineering. And then I worked for like 9 years in design, got my PE, started to get a little bored of doing calcs, was going to go back to school to become a high school math teacher. And then I found this company called Hilti that makes post-installed anchors for buildings and things. And I get to do lunch and learns. Well, it was in offices. Now it's mostly virtual until further notice, to teach engineers how to design, like if they have to anchor into things after the fact. And also I go out to job sites to work with contractors. So I'm kind of all over. So when I heard teach, I'm like, oh, and let's go back to City College for 2 years at night to get my master's to become a math teacher. So I still get to use my engineering and do teaching and everything else. The great thing about what Mig and I can do with the presentations he was talking about, which now we're doing virtually, until things calm down with COVID, is you have people like myself, Mig, from all different backgrounds. There's women, or I still say girls, even though I'm in my 40s now, but it's girls and boys like me and Mig, very youthful at heart. And, we have every diversity in our group. And I think the nice thing is for the high school students, sometimes people think civil engineering or structural engineering or engineering is more for like boys or men. I mean, I wouldn't have even known about engineering when I was a kid if it wasn't for my dad being a civil engineer. And when I would tell my friends my dad's an engineer, they thought he drove a train. Like nobody even knew like what that was. So I know you guys are in the more technical schools, so your kids are probably in a different place than just regular high school kids. But even so, just for like, the girls in your school too, like there's a couple of women in the group like myself, and we can give our backgrounds and let them know there's no reason to be intimidated. I mean, I went to University of Buffalo in the 90s, and it wasn't even intimidating then. Like everybody was friends, we were all cool. I mean, I think things are a little bit more polarized today actually than back when I went. It was more middle of the road with things. But, just to let them know that this is girl, boy, doesn't matter. And in the field of engineering, even though it's not a low, it's kind of still on the lower end for like women and people of color, but, they're growing and people are getting more exposed. And that's what we want to do at your schools. And that's why our committee, looks like what's in your schools. Like there's a little bit of everything with us. So when we do the presentation, we break it up to have 5 or 6 of us. So there's girls, boys, like I said, white people, black people, Asian, whatever, you know what I mean? So this way everybody feels like, wow, like I can do that too. I don't know anybody like me that's an engineer in my family, or I didn't even think of that. So, and then we explain to them also, like in high school, what courses you want, especially like 9th grade on, what you want to focus on to have a better chance of getting into these engineering schools. Because even the state schools like City College and University of Buffalo, where I went, getting a lot more competitive to get into because they're very good deals for the education. So we go into that with them. And then we also go into options like you could do design, you could work for a contractor. There's so many different things that they might not be aware of. So they might be like, you know what? I am outgoing. Maybe I don't want to sit behind a desk, but I didn't realize that, I could work on a job site, or I could be an inspector, or there's all different facets. So we go into that in our little presentation that there were 6 schools that signed up last year, like Brooklyn Tech, Queens Tech, that we worked with. And I'm not sure if some of them are still on here today because some of them fell through because of COVID. But any of you, if you still are on, or any new people that want to have us do a virtual presentation one day at your schools, let us know and we can set that up.
Awesome.
Great, thank you both. And Anne-Marie, I think you went to college with my colleague, Corinne Duran, who's actually on the line with us. So you two probably cross paths at some point.
Oh,
But
okay, cool.
Yeah, but I really do recommend our schools who are looking for guest speakers. You're looking for industry engagement opportunities, and I get these emails all the time. You need folks to talk about the careers that they're in. You need folks to participate in your career days. Please reach out to our partners here at Structural Engineers Association of New York. All right, so thank you, Meg. Thank you, Anne-Marie. I wanted to feature Max Learn and Rachel Love, but Max is not here yet, so I'm just gonna push that back a little bit. Do we have Max Taffet and Gustavo from Economic Development Corp? Are you guys on?
We are here.
Oh,
Take it away, Gustavo.
Excellent, excellent. So Max Taffet, one of our longstanding commission members, every time there's a scholarship, every time there's an internship, every time there's a career fair, every time there's some sort of job opportunity, I get the information from Max. Max has been such an incredible advocate for the work that we do here in CTE. And I'm going to turn it over to him and Gustavo so that they can share some opportunities that you guys might be interested in. Thank you. Take it away.
Thanks. I'm going to put it right on to Gustavo, an esteemed DOE grad who's now working on my team.
Excellent. Welcome, Gustavo.
Thank you, Max. Thank you, Gav. Pleasure to be here. So the first thing we have on our agenda that I want to mention today is that Business for Offshore Wind is having a scholarship for high school seniors that is college bound. And so the scholarship really offers a $5,000 to $8,000 scholarship for tuition fees. And so one of the requirements is that they have to be sponsored by a Business for Offshore Wind partner. And luckily enough, EDC is a partner. And so we are happy to sponsor any student. The only requirements that they really ask is to create an account to apply for the scholarship. And one of the three requirements is to have a personal statement, a letter of recommendation, and to upload a picture. We are, of course, happy to sponsor a student who has interest in offshore wind and kind of a maritime career. We do ask, though, that we get a copy of the application. And of course, we are happy to help in any way for students. And we just really want to be aware of kind of what are high school students thinking of in terms of offshore wind. But of course, happy to help in any way possible. Applications have opened on January 11th, and they do close on March 2nd, and the winners are notified in late March. So I'll drop in my email for if you have any questions, and I'll also drop the links to kind of the instructions for the scholarship and a link to the scholarship portal. Next on our agenda is
just to clarify on the sponsorship. So we're not giving the scholarship. It's just a sponsorship for a student to be able to apply. So you need an organization sponsor to be able to put in an application. So that's what, with an email to Gustavo, we're happy to provide that sort of member organization sponsorship to get an application in.
Great, thank you, Max and Gustavo. So to be clear, we're not giving your school or your kids money automatically. We're just saying we're helping them in the application process.
Exactly.
All right. So once your student applies for the scholarship, there is a field where they have to fill out that says who's the person nominating you. So that Max would be happy to help with. So just get in touch with us if you have any of your young people who are in 12th grade who are on the track to graduate and they're interested in pursuing education and careers within offshore wind. All right, so next
one more thing.
Yes.
Sorry, Gustavo,
Yes,
on the April 5th event.
yeah. So EDC is also hosting a offshore wind and maritime career awareness event on April 5th at the Brooklyn Cruise Terminal. Our goal for the event, of course, is to make high school students aware and inform them of offshore wind opportunities and careers, future careers in the maritime industry. So we're convening high school students, educators, and industry organizations to come together and provide educational and information on these two careers that are going to have a big impact in New York City's future in a few years. And so at the cruise terminal, we'll have demonstrations, we'll have representative of maritime and offshore wind companies speak to students about what offshore wind is and how to get involved, and kind of provide some information on what steps high school students can take to be able to participate in this industry in a few years. And so we're hoping to have as many high school students at the Brooklyn Cruise Terminal. I'll, of course, drop my email, and you can, for educators, really just have this thought on your calendars. And of course, we're happy to answer any questions regarding. We are, of course, happy to help with ferry tickets, and we'll, of course, provide lunch for students. And Max, am I missing anything?
Good.
Thank you, Gav.
Thank you both. And next on the agenda, we have Tim Haydock from Center for Architecture. Tim has been a very, very valuable partner to us as well, because I get all the emails about the work-based learning opportunities that he and his organization have to provide. So I would be remiss if I didn't give him a chance to present on some K-12 opportunities that your kids might be interested in. Welcome, Tim, and take it away.
Yeah, thank you very much. And let me share my screen. All right. So I want to say hello to everybody. And so I'm Tim Haydock. I'm the lead design educator here at the Center for Architecture. And we do have a number of programs that are really aimed at primarily middle school and high school students who are interested in architecture and design. Definitely a focus on architecture itself. And one that's coming up is called Discover Architecture. Because of COVID, we've had to take this particular program online, but as you'll see, we have a number of really wonderful New York firms who are willing to speak with students on Friday. It's actually Friday, February 25th. Students can sign up. I will provide links for everything that I speak about just after I'm done. But it's a really great opportunity for students to, just get a sense of what it's like the day in the life of an architect. There are a series of talks that they can attend. We really try to find a variety of offices, some that are much smaller, medium size, and then larger offices as well. And so it is a nice introduction. In the past, and hopefully in the future, this has been a 3-day program where we have students, we actually place students with these firms. They're there for 3 days, and then we usually have a wrap-up program happening over February break. So it's really geared towards the public schools here in the city. I also want to share with you, let's see here. Okay, we also have a series called Design Discovery. Oh, by the way, I did want to mention, we've been able to give students some credit for attending the Discover Architecture program. So I know that it has been hard to get students into offices, but this is one way that they might be able to chip away at some of those credits. Design Discovery is a Saturday program taking place in several upcoming Saturdays, once a month. And the theme changes all the time. We've done programs like, sort of a walking tour of Soho, looking at cast iron architecture, and there's always a hands-on component. We are doing some programs with one of our architecture educators who teaches our architectural drawing classes over the summer. He's going to be doing a workshop on perspective. Many of these programs are designed to, help students with their portfolio, to give them something that they could include. Architectural model making, we're doing, introduction to plan and elevation drawings. We're finding that there are students who are really kind of trying to feel out whether or not they want to try architecture as well. So, perhaps you do have students that are interested in, just sort of dipping their toe in to see if this is really something that they might want to do. It's not a huge investment in terms of time or money. We also offer scholarships for all of our programs as well. And we also have some vacation programs coming up. So in lieu of maybe doing the Discover Architecture program over February, students might be interested in some of these offerings. We do offer programs for younger audiences, but also we're doing some introduction to digital design for high school students. So again, I'll make these links available as well. And these tend to be just 3-day programs, but they're all day, and just might be a nice opportunity again for students to chip away at some credits, or again, get a chance to try some of these either programs, or again trying to find whether or not they're interested in a career in architecture. And last but not least, I wanted to just mention too, there's the Walter A. Hunt Jr. Scholarship, which comes up once a year. There is another deadline, June 17th. This is a really, really nice opportunity for high school students to apply. They meet with Walter's widow, Judy Hunt, who is a wonderful person. I don't know if any of you know Judy, but she's really wonderful, and she really wants to keep Walter's spirit alive through this scholarship. And it's $10,000 for $10,000 for the first year of school, and $10,000 for the second year of school. It's open to any public school student in New York City. And so it's kind of a nice way to, take a little bit of the edge off of the cost of going off to college. So again, I'm going to place some links in the chat, and I'll also include my information as well if anybody has any further questions. And thank you again.
Okay, thank you, Tim. Any questions from anyone?
Yeah,
Before
really
we-
quick. With
Yes.
Teams, like I always have all the presentations I've been on and listened to, and then I could always look at the chat to find things. Because what Tim was talking about, and Tim, maybe we could talk offline at another point, because we've been talking about even combining some kind of presentation with the students for like engineering and architecture both, that maybe we could develop one that would be like a half hour of engineering, a half hour of architecture at the same time. So this way kids can ask differences between, because I think a lot of kids, they think they want to be architects, including me at one point. And then I hate to break it to them, but some of them have absolutely no artistic talent whatsoever. There's just a real fact, like they're not artistically, like they can't even sketch something. And then they're more like the numbers and the engineering base, but then they think they want to be architects. So I'm talking about when I went to Buffalo, some of my friends, to get into the architecture school at Buffalo was so competitive. Like engineering accepted like 600 students. Architecture was like 50. And then to get into the studios and the stuff that they did. So for you to explain more to kids at the high school level, because I had so many friends that went to Buffalo for architecture and then switched to engineering and then had to take makeup classes because they weren't taking physics and things, because you didn't need that for architecture. I think that might be a great thing to maybe work on at some point in the upcoming months, because I think that just have a better understanding of like what kind of mindset, what does an architect really do? Because I think they don't understand the crossovers, and it would be like something like that would be great to maybe collaborate on together.
Absolutely. I think that would be a really great thing to do. Also the fact that, we do have, we have a lecture space here that we've often hosted ACE mentoring. Usually in the springtime, they'll come and they'll have their, final presentations here. But yeah, I would love to do that. We often do get students too, where, they have an interest in engineering, and I would love to think that the center would be a place for, all of these organizations to, send your information to, and we'll make it available to students. But yeah, and to be able to do some sort of workshop together where we can really, kind of bridge those two fields and really help kids figure out what might be their next steps would be great. We're also interested too in helping out with the pipeline. There's a lot for us to do, and I think we need to be more involved as well. So I'm hoping that this might be an opportunity for us to just share addresses and all of that and get some things rolling. But yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and also because we go to the center, well, before COVID, we used to go to the Center of Architecture for all the time, for all of our CIONE presentations, for all of our
Right.
CIONE meetings and everything else. So yeah, very familiar with the space. Our annual meeting's always there. And then I'm part of the membership committee as well with CIONE, and like we would do like the roundtable events there. Now, because of COVID, we're still trying to keep things more virtual, but maybe like later this winter, we could set up a virtual presentation, like with some of the schools that will get in touch with us, that we could do like half architecture, half structural as a start. And then this way, all this, the whole school, all the students can watch, because that's what we did last time when we had over 100 students, me and Megan, a few others that Gav put together.
Yeah.
So like I said, we could talk about that more, because I even have some friends' kids that are coming up in high school now, and they ask me what it's like to be an engineer, and then they ask me what it's like to be an architect. And I don't really know how to explain the architect that well, except if they're not artistic or they can't see a vision of something and they're more just like straight lines and good at math, they might want to do more engineering. But maybe I'm talking them out of architecture and into engineering, and maybe hearing from someone like you would be better, you know what I mean, than me guessing, kind of,
I think that'd be great. And, we could do something that would be hands-on. That I think would be awesome as well. A number of years ago, we actually had some contractors approach us, and they said, listen, we'd love to get, some materials and some tools into the hands of kids. And we just did a morning workshop, but, just for kids to work on this stuff and to, meet engineers and architects and, maybe try to solve a problem, really using their hands. It's just incredible, like, how you can really see, the sense of accomplishment. And, there's so many ways of learning as well too. But yeah, I would love that. Let's really do that. I think that'd be really wonderful.
Okay, we'll talk more offline at another point, but thank you. And thanks for that
Absolutely.
information. I'm going to send these links, but sorry, Gav, that was my whole point. How do I go back? Is there a way to go back into Zoom and see things we've been on to get links? Because I know how to do it in Teams. I don't know how to do it in Zoom. Zoom, usually it just disappears and I never see it again.
There's a chat.
If you're the host and you log into Zoom, not the actual app, but the website, there is a section there for transcripts, and there's another section there where you can pull up the chat box as well, all the things that were entered into the chat.
So I just go on the Zoom link that I was on today?
If you log into zoom.us and you pull up the past meeting, some of that info should be there. But the thing is, it expires after X number of days though, so it's not there indefinitely.
Oh, okay. Is there because the links that Tim was going to give, because I want to send that to my friend for her son to look at them. Is there like an email that maybe Tim could send out to the group, or you could send out to the group?
Yeah, so after every commission meeting, I compile all of the different content that was discussed and I email it out to everybody in attendance.
Oh, okay, perfect. Okay, sorry for all the distraction then. Thank you.
No, all good, all good. All right, so thank you, everybody. We're actually not going to spend the entire 2 hours today. I had so much more content, but a couple of people called out. But we still do have a couple more presentations to go. I wanted to turn the floor over to Rachel Love of New York City Parks. And I first got acquainted with Rachel when we were on a panel discussion discussing various career opportunities within city government. And ever since then, she's just been such a wonderful industry partner to me. She's helped out with a couple of our advisory boards, and like some of our other partners, anytime there is any sort of information that she finds to be relevant for our teachers or our kids or alumni, she always sends it my way. So I really appreciate you, Rachel, and the openness and the willingness that you and your team have in supporting our work here in the Department of Education. I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thank you, Gav. It's always a pleasure to work with you. So again, my name is Rachel Love, and I work for the New York City Department of Parks and Recreation. We have a lot of opportunities for students during the spring and summer months. Currently, we're recruiting for our lifeguard program. And The lifeguard qualifying test is now available. I'm going to put the link in the chat. So if you know any students who are interested in a summer job, they can take the qualifying test, and if they pass the qualifying exam, they can have a summer job as a lifeguard at one of the city's pools or beaches. And the beaches, they open on Memorial Day weekend. The pools open in late June, and they close the Sunday after Labor Day. And our lifeguards work 48 hours each week, and first-year lifeguards can earn up to $16 an hour for a weekly salary of up to $800. So I'm going to put the registration link into the chat. And so in addition to the lifeguard program, we have a virtual career fair / information session. And it allows job seekers and students to learn more about job opportunities we have at the Parks Department. We'll have representatives from maintenance, operations, recreation, the urban park rangers. So if you know any student or a job seeker who is interested in learning more about the Parks Department, or is interested in networking with other professionals within city government, this will be the information section to register for. It will be virtually over Zoom from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. at night. And I'll put in the registration link as well. And also we are recruiting positions for the summertime. In addition to lifeguards, we have summer camp counselors, playground associates, and swim instructors. So if you know any students or job seekers who are interested in these kinds of work for the summer, I'm going to put in the link in the chat.
What you want? Yeah. Yeah, let me, hold on.
So our seasonal jobs will be on this website. And yeah, so that's everything I have to say so far about opportunities at parks. We have the lifeguard program, the upcoming career fair in February, and our seasonal opportunities for the spring and summer months.
Oh.
So Rachel, question about the career fair. Is that something that we should let our current high school students know about as well? Or is this more so for our alumni who are 18 or older?
It's geared to mostly to alumni, but we will have representatives from the lifeguard division and recreation, and they cater more to high school students. So it's really open to anyone who is interested, and also it's a great way to meet employees within the Parks Department and just to network and to learn more about the department.
Excellent. All right, sounds good. So thanks for providing that information, Rachel, and I'll be sure to disseminate this to all of our attendees as well.
Great.
Yeah, all right, thanks, Rachel. All right, I don't see Alvin in the room. All right, so what I'm gonna do, I just want to end off the meeting with some other announcements that I want everybody to be aware of. Just give me a second as I share my screen here. Okay, just doing one last plug for the Woodlawn Conservancy training program. I wanted to have one of their reps speak about this real quick, but they're not available here today. But there's still one more day to go. There's still a few seats open. If you have any of your young people who are between the ages of 18 to 24, they're not enrolled in school, they're not in a college, they're looking for something to do, they're looking to gain some credentials, they're looking for a training program, please sign them up for this. I see a text that says, Annie, from Annie, I'm here. Which Annie is this? Tell me your last name because I have 18 Annies in my phone.
I'm
All right,
sorry,
so-
I'm from
yes.
Woodlawn.
Oh, Woodlawn, yes, yes. Yes, welcome, welcome. I didn't
Hi.
know. Okay, so yes, all right, let me just turn this over. Let me stop sharing my screen for a second so that I can give the mic over to you. All right, go for it.
I am so sorry that I am off camera. Something is wrong with my computer and it doesn't want to come up. Thank you for having me today. I do work with the DOOR Woodlawn Masonry Training Program as of right now, but we do both landscaping and masonry training. We are currently recruiting for the masonry program. Recruiting actually ends tomorrow, unfortunately, but we do start the program in February. We have our program for landscaping starting in September. In the chat, I will put a link for our flyer. It's a little slideshow that we have, and I will add that in there. It'll have our information, our contact information. So if anybody wants to reach out, our program works with YPs, young people from the ages of 18 to 24, current residents of the 5 boroughs of New York City, high school diploma, GED, and that's basically it. If they're able to participate working in New York City, in the United States of America, actually, they can sign up for our program. It's an awesome program. It's a 20-week program. It gives them the option to obtain OSHA 30, the landscaping program gives them the man lift certification, safety certification, scaffolding certification. There's a 10-week paid internship during the training. So all their hands-on training is paid.
Thank you, Annie. I'm going to be sure to blast that out one more time for our teachers and other folks in our network. Thanks for joining. All right, folks, so we're doing good on time. We are definitely going to end before 4:30. Actually, Diana Calix, if you're on this Zoom call, it turns out one of your former students actually joined today. I didn't even know you two knew each other. So welcome, Sandra. Sandra is going to be one of our new CTE teachers soon. All right, so welcome to the team.
Hi,
right.
Gav. Can you hear me?
Yep, I hear you.
Hi, everyone. Yes, I'm Diana Calix, APS City Polytechnic High School. We tell one of my former students. Wow, that's exciting.
Yeah, and by the way, I like to brag that even though I'm in central office, I actually was a teacher. I taught alongside Diana back in the day. So I think that probably adds to the street credibility I have with some of our teachers. All right, so let me just wrap this meeting up. Just want to show a few more announcements real quick, because I know that the day is far spent. You guys want to go home. You want to think about other non-CTE stuff in life. So I'm not going to hold you too much longer. All right, so we just had Annie talk about the Woodlawn Conservancy Training Program. The Skill Point scholarships are available for any of your 12th graders who are interested in any of the skilled trades. We have a great partnership with them. They're looking for more young people who want to apply for the scholarships that they have available. So I'll be sure to email that out. As I said earlier, our co-chair, Tamara Rivera, unfortunately, she's down with the flu, so she couldn't make it to this meeting. But as soon as the applications are open for the Building Works pre-apprenticeship program, I'll email that out to everybody as well. You don't have to be a CTE carpenter student to be eligible for this. And generally speaking, it doesn't really matter what a student majors in within high school when it comes to these pre-apprenticeship recruitments. We're just looking for young people who are willing to work, who are willing to show up on time. They have to have the high school diploma, and they have to be committed to the program. So the Building Works is one of those apprenticeship programs where your young people can potentially get into one of the carpentry construction unions. So look out for that email from me. January 31st will be PD Day. I sent out a bunch of emails talking about the workshops, and I still get texts. Gav, are we having any PDs? Yes, we are. There are, if I'm not mistaken, I think 15 PDs happening on January 31st. The one I want to give a plug for are for our partners at Engineering Tomorrow, because I know when I was a teacher, the thing that I love the most about PDs are the ones where I actually have resources that I can use in my classroom. There are other PDs for other things, but if you are a STEM teacher, you're teaching physics or pre-engineering or math or anything within the STEM sectors, and you're looking for free curriculum, free lesson plans, free virtual labs, free pre-engineering kits delivered to your school so that you can use with your kids, I want you to please tap into that PD happening on January 31st. And they cover a range of different topics from electric vehicles to water treatment to robotics to drones and a whole bunch of other stuff. So please feel free to use that resource. They exist for the sole purpose of trying to help you teach your kids. So make sure that we don't have these partners go to waste. February 3rd, I am going to be working with Antonia Brown from the Metropolitan Transit Authority, New York City Transit Department of Subways. We're going to have an info session. We have an upcoming apprenticeship recruitment event. This is only for our CTE electrical programs. Remember, when it comes to Department of Subway or transit helper, electrical helper, we are really trying to hone in on our young people who have at least 600 hours of electrical instruction. So if your CTE program has electrical in the name, you are the folks that I'm targeting. We're looking at February 3rd for our session. It's going to be on Zoom. Make sure that your kids sign up for this. And if you can't make February 3rd, I'm going to be sure to record that session. And I'm going to try to put together at least 1 or 2 alternative dates for those of us who might not be able to make that particular session. February 3rd, we are doing a Future of Fleet event for students who are interested in learning about where the industry is heading in terms of the automotive sector, the fleet sector, the sustainability sector. We're not going to discuss in depth job opportunities. We're not going to go through the civil service examination or anything like that. But in terms of keeping up to date with industry trends, there's a lot happening in New York City in terms of electric vehicles, and we want to make sure that your young people are not ignorant of some of these developments. So we're going to have our chairperson of our automotive commission, Keith Kerman, from DCAS. He's going to be leading out that event. I'm going to email that out. Your student does not have to be a CTE automotive student in order to attend this. It's open to anybody who's interested in learning about these industries. February 16th, we'll have a career exploration panel discussion with our partners at the International Facilities Management Association at New York City. We're going to have folks from Meta, formerly Facebook, Blackstone, Pratt Institute, and Siska Hennessy. So we're going to talk about facilities management. This is a very, very multidisciplinary type job where a lot of young people are not aware of it. And this is an opportunity for your kids to get some exposure to it. It doesn't matter what the student CTE track is, it's open to all students within our CTE portfolio. February 21st to the 25th, I think that should probably say the 22nd, but whatever that week is, that midwinter recess week, not counting the holidays, not counting the federal holidays, we're doing another round of our non-traditional employment for women mentoring program. This is specifically for our state approved. Can you guys put yourself on mute? I'm almost finished. All right, this is specifically for our CTE construction programs that are NYCD approved. You will be receiving some reminders from me about this. We still have a few seats open. And if you are not a part of this mentoring program, there is still ample opportunity for you to collaborate with non-traditional employment for women. So just shoot me an email if you ever want a guest speaking opportunity, or you want resources to find out how can I get my young ladies in my class who are interested in pursuing the skilled trades, how can I get them into one of these construction union apprenticeships? Just shoot an email my way and I can get you connected. And finally, as always, I wanted to let you guys know that we do need CTE teachers. I'm specifically looking for automotive teachers. We have a couple of our veterans who are going to be retiring this year. So we do have a need for that. HVAC, we only have one HVAC CTE program in New York City. So once a person leaves, we know how that goes. Oftentimes a CTE program is unfortunately resting on the shoulders of one certified teacher or just a couple of teachers. So if you know anybody within automotive or HVAC, or also architecture and engineering, if they're interested in becoming a CTE teacher, just send a resume my way. I'll walk the person through the transitional aid process. I can't handhold them the entire step of the way. I can't handhold them for the entire process because that's not really my job, but it is a need that has to be done. And please send the resumes my way if you have any folks from industry who are looking to teach. And Tim Hayduck, if you're still on the line, I want to have you become one of our future architecture teachers if you're up for it. That's one of my commitments that I'm trying to make. All right. So, but anyway, I'm going to leave the floor open in case that we have anybody else that I've missed. If there are any announcements, any deadlines, any sort of information anybody wants to share, this is your time. I'm going to just leave the mic open for anyone who has any important updates to share.
Can I make a quick announcement about ACE?
Sure.
Okay. Hey everyone, I'm Lauren Fiore. I'm the Director of Programs at ACE Greater New York. We have a lot of our strong school partners here, so it's really great to see you all. I just wanted to plug our scholarship program. It's for students that are in ACE, that are seniors in high school, about to go on the college track. They just have to be majoring in an ACE-related major. To be honest with everyone here, it's a very easy application, so please encourage your ACE students to apply. If they get a scholarship from us, that money goes directly to them. So it goes in their direct, it gets sent to their direct deposit. They don't have to, it doesn't go through their bursar, it doesn't go through their financial aid. They get their money sent directly to them. They can use it for clothes, books, laptops, all those architecture materials that are really expensive, anything that they need for their college journey. And it's a really special scholarship also because they get connected with their sponsor. They get to go to their office. They get to just see to have really great for their networking and their internship capabilities. So please encourage your seniors on the college track to apply. ACE is still going strong, so we are really grateful for all your support and help at getting students signed up and active this year. So thank you all.
Thank you, Lauren. Stephanie Burns, are you there?
Yes, I'm here, Gav.
Yes. All right. So we have Stephanie Burns, co-chair of our Construction and Sustainability Commission. She was dropping some valuable info in the chat box. Stephanie, can you share with the group, please?
Sure. Turner's Youth Force 2020 scholarships. They're coming out. I would like everybody to visit our website, turnerconstruction.com. These scholarships are in the volume of $8,000 per student. It's for students pursuing an engineering degree, architectural degree, sustainability, electrical degrees for New York City students only. So if you're interested, please pass this information on to your students or visit our website. I'll be able to send Gav a copy of the scholarship itself once it posts so that it can be shared amongst everybody in the commission to send it out to their students.
Excellent. Thank you, Stephanie. Anyone else? All right, so that concludes our meeting. We had well over 80 people attend. I actually did not initially plan to have a meeting. This was just supposed to be like a 30-minute thing, and I was only expecting a handful of people, but it turned out to be a bigger meeting than expected. But thank you for all of our partners. Thank you to all of our schools as well. And if there's anything that I've ever accomplished in the CTE office, it's simply because of you. I stand on the shoulders of giants, and as long as I'm here to serve you. And I really want to just thank all the teachers, all the partners for everything that you do, for helping our schools with internships, with career days, with the curriculum reviews, with program approval, with the externships, with the career opportunities, with the scholarships. Thank you for everything. I really hope that this meeting has been enjoyable. Like I say, sometimes, you know, we do these meetings and people do a lot of these breakout room group stuff and other stuff that I personally don't really care for. I really want to have these meetings so that you can walk away having actual tangible resources that you can use in your shop class or give to your kids or give to your network. And hopefully I've accomplished that today. If you'd like to be featured in a future commission meeting, please just shoot me an email. We have one more round to go. I don't think I'm going to combine them next time, but we'll see how things go. We're going to be discussing labor market information, and we're going to be having some panel discussions on some jobs that are in demand in the sector. We're going to look at some data. We're going to talk about hiring trends and things of that nature. Most likely, we are going to split it up back to the 3 commissions because the info is going to be more fine-tuned for the different sectors. But if you have any meeting ideas, I'm just a phone call, just an email away. Leave the windows open in case you want to connect with anybody else on the Zoom call today. But thank you all for attending, and you're halfway throughout the school year. You've halfway made it, so just a couple more months to go, just a few more months to go. So I'm here with you. The CTE department is behind you as well. We're here to support you. So thank you all for everything that you do, and nobody else can do your job like how you can. Thank you all. Stay blessed, everybody.
Hey, Gav, before you go,
Yes.
everything you said, that goes back to you 1,000-fold. If it wasn't for you,
That's right.
all these people wouldn't be together right now. So thank you for what you
Exactly.
do, because you bring everyone together. And without you, you're the glue that holds us all together. So thank you so much.
Thank
Thank
you,
you
Anne-Marie. I
so
appreciate
much,
it.
Gav. Thank you
Thank
so
you, Diane.
much.
Thank you.
Good, excellent
everyone.
job. Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye,
Have a
everyone.
great day.
Take care, folks.
Great job, Gav.
Thanks, Joe. Thanks for all you do, man.
We're
Hi, Gav. Great job.
trying our best. Thank you.